is it healthy? Is it healthy to keep things in? Because personally, I've kept things in before until when I recently got married, especially when I was dating my wife. She used to say to me, "Are you okay?" And I'd be like, "Yeah," but she could tell I'm not okay. There's something on my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, "I'm okay." And that had to change because for the marriage to work, my communication skills needs to get better.
Yeah.
And with time, I've become better in expressing what I genuinely feel.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
become more balanced, basically.
Yeah, you become more balanced about it. But
Yeah.
before I continue speaking any further, in your case, I mean, I might be wrong, but I've always known you to say how you feel,
Yeah.
or you like to talk about your struggles. You like to share it and be honest with people about it. But in general, in your time on this earth,
Yeah.
how has it been like for you when it comes to expressing yourself?
Um, Kind of like you, I like have been in an environment where um you kind of hold things in. Like I was born here in England, as you know, but I left when I was 5 years old to live in Barbados. And Barbadian culture is kind of this. It's not like people don't complain or talk, but in terms of personal issues, especially with males, there's a culture of keeping it in. You know what I mean? Just deal with it. You know, is not manly to be emotional or say how you feel. Right?
Yeah.
So and also sometimes it feels like you have to hold it in to survive. You know, it's like just to survive and stay strong and not to be seen as weak. You know, you gotta hold in those emotions and problems.
Exactly, because you could come across emotional. In fact, I can't. I know where you're coming from because if you're a man and you keep expressing yourself too much, you come across like okay, like you feel the vibe that
Yeah,
it's not really welcomed, is it?
yeah, and you just
Yeah.
gotta suck that up. You
Mm.
know, so for me, I would say I can't remember much about my life at school, how it was, but in my teenage years, I was very expressive. I was very open to telling people how I felt, what I was going through, so on and so forth. Um, I would say that changed when I started to express myself to people who would use that against you. So after a while, I started to clam up. I started to internalize and bottle stuff up, and that wasn't healthy, you know, because psychologically, you know, when it comes to mental health, it's not healthy. Like you will break at some point.
You will, you
Yeah,
will.
but
And sorry to interrupt you there,
yeah,
because growing up, I realized there was instances in my life where I used to get upset or get irritated for no reason. Obviously, I wasn't thinking deep enough to
yeah,
know that it's because I've been keeping so much in, the body is feeling tense.
yeah. Anxiety, cortisol, stress, depression, you know, yeah, it's all from anger. You know, it's all from bottling stuff up. Um, but I'd say like just like you, I became balanced after a while. Um, so I went from being super expressive to not being expressive to it not really being healthy, and then coming at the other end being more balanced where I can be expressive at the right time with the right people. You know, because for me, I always feel like there should be a balance. I think the, but as I mentioned before, there's two ends of the spectrum. There's one end of the spectrum where you bottle things up all the time and you're not expressive. And what happens is that comes out in anger. We spoke in the last podcast about like kids on the road, you know, doing bad things and, you know, being aggressive, that is like a sign of people who cannot, you know, express themselves. They bottle because they probably feel that no one cares about them.
100%.
So they bottle everything up. That's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is if you just everything is complain, like then life is always like negative. Yeah. Then that also is not healthy because you're reinforcing it in your mind constantly. You know, so both ends of the spectrum aren't healthy for your mental health.
It's true. So, I mean, it's interesting because I wanted to give you the flip side of the way where I was raised. So I did
Yeah.
mention earlier that in Ghana, you are raised to make sure you don't say what's going on at home, and you just get on with life. But on the other end as well, they do communicate well. So if you do have a problem, it's like, oh, I'm struggling. When it comes to struggles, we all share it.
Yeah.
It's hard, so even you could be sitting on the bus and someone will start sharing their life experience with you. So that's where you get a bit of balance.
Yeah.
So in the Western world, as much as people complain, they also miss a lot of the human touch because the way, especially when you live in the city in London, the lifestyle is busy, home, work, indoors.
Yeah.
Whereas with Ghana being an outdoor place, people tend to talk, they sit in a compound, they have a chat. So that's where it balances it a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm.
Same thing in the West Indies and Barbados. You have outside where guys will hang out, at the beach or on the block or just outside, and there will be some chatting and stuff like general chatting. So you can chat, but when it comes to deeply personal stuff, that's where people bottle stuff up.
Yeah.
But outside of it, I think now it's going better. And as time has gone on, people are more expressive because they're realizing that their friends and family are suffering from depression and anxiety, and some are committing suicide. And so I think we're more open to having people express themselves to us.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was more deal with it, however you feel, just bottle it up.
100%.
But I would say now is much better in terms of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we do have relatives where you could tell they're acting really strangely, and not because they are abnormal or anything. It's just purely because they've kept so much in and they are not sharing, and because they are not sharing, it's changed their personality,
Yeah.
and they begin to act in a certain pattern.
Yeah.
So just like people, instead of talking about things, will maybe go watch something immoral or
Yeah.
drink or do something that is not really healthy.
That's their
It all boils down to years of bottling up and not sharing.
that's their coping mechanism.
Mm.
That's your body going, okay, this is abnormal, not sharing. Or cortisol is shooting through the roof. Stress hormones are shooting through the roof. We need something to regulate this. And that's where, like you said, having a drink or doing something immoral or deemed immoral or smoking or even if it's gym, or even comfort eating. Some people eat chocolate every day or ice cream, or some people would jog. It's like all those little things are like drugs to cope with whatever they're struggling with. So you know what? It's basically what they call it is self-medicating. Your brain is looking for something to sort. So it's like when you're thirsty, your brain says we need water. Yeah.
That's water.
Like that look a bit yellow for water. That looks like
Yeah.
wine. But
Yeah.
anyways, drinking
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
but but yes, that's a perfect example. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So so it's like it's self-medicating. Is if you're thirsty, your body goes, we need water.
Mm.
If you're stressed and anxious or whatever, your brain goes, we need something to regulate this. If you overheat, yeah, your body goes, we need something cold, a glass of water or ice cream to regulate. It's the same thing with the brain. The brain stressing, it goes, we need something. And if and the brain is smart because it stores information. So if the brain stored that one day you were stressed and you went and had a glass of wine or a couple of beers and you felt calm and mellow, the brain goes, oh, this thing, yeah, regulated regulated the chemicals. So we're gonna record that. So the next time this person feels stressed, we will send signals to him to go to that thing again.
Yeah.
The problem is as time goes on, the the coping mechanism becomes less and less effective,
Yeah.
and the brain goes more, 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 and that's how people become addicts.
Exactly. And